Hey everyone, Zaxworld here. Today I'm going to review The Sponge Who Could Fly, aka The Lost Episode. I honestly love this episode so much, and I love how they just reused it for a Season 7 episode of SpongeBob. And trust me, there are going to be more Zaxworld reviews of my favorite SpongeBob episodes. Let's dig in. To start things off, we get Patchy segments, which are really good. So, the French narrator told us that there's a lost episode of SpongeBob discovered under a desk at Nickelodeon Studios, and people are excited to watch the lost SpongeBob episode. Potty flies into Patchy's bathroom and says that an audience of children is waiting to see the lost episode as announced by the French narrator. For some reason, the crew members are filming Patchy in his bathroom, which understandably scares Patchy. But the lost episode is actually lost. So Patchy has to go find it. And we get a clip show of SpongeBob episodes from seasons 1 through 3. So after that clip show is done, Patchy says he never loses anything, but Potty explains all the things he lost. Between his leg, his hand, his eye. So Patchy tells him to shoo. A brick, for some reason, lands inside his house and hits his head. But it's the map of the lost episode. Probably Mrs. Johnson's. And reasons why people love this episode is because it's the first time Patchy ever went outside to have a journey on a treasure hunt. And Blue's Clues did a treasure hunt. So Patchy looks for the lost episode, he watches it, it's a bunch of cheap walk cycles, and Patchy has a meltdown. But Potty tells him that there's more, and Patchy acts like none of this happened. So he literally went like, let's watch the episode, I was not fooled for a second. Plus, I would react the same way if I went on a lost media search for like SpongeBob behind the scenes. But it's just a bunch of nonsense. The SpongeBob episode segment begins at Jellyfish Fields with SpongeBob wishing he could fly with the jellyfish. He makes several attempts to do so, including a bit plane, bat wings, a garden chair with balloons, and a kite pulled by a bicycle. Some of these attempts, assisted by Patrick after his failed attempts, are witnesses by others. He becomes known as the Birdman of Bikini Bottom. For some reason, the background fish just acts really rude to SpongeBob. Just because he has dreams doesn't mean he wasn't trying to hurt anybody. They hurt SpongeBob's feelings because they had dreams that never came true, which is no reason to be rude to SpongeBob, honestly. The act ends when SpongeBob runs off a cliff and falls into a truck of mud, then into a truck of feathers, much to his misfortune. Later on, Act 2 begins by showing SpongeBob in his house, having given up on his dream. He begins to dry his hair. I didn't even know SpongeBob had hair. Then he receives an insulting phone call from a fan of the Birdman, namely Joe Mama. SpongeBob puts the hairdryer in his pants for some reason while he talks, and the hairdryer inflates his pants. In real life, that would not happen at all, giving him the ability to fly. He goes around helping people, earning the administration, and becoming a local celebrity of sorts. However, the lazy citizens continue to ask increasingly unnecessary favors. Okay, now that's just a little bit off for SpongeBob episodes, because local fish do not even know SpongeBob, and they wouldn't even have to ask him favors. Anyway, those which do not require flight, leaving him no time to fly with the jellyfish. When he tries to escape to Jellyfish Fields, the people form a mob and chase after him. Okay, now that's a little bit out of character. With Squidward I understand, but the entire people of Bikini Bottom, That's just strange. So the mob chase after him, but they are unable to catch him. However, Cannonball Jenkins blasts SpongeBob, destroying the pantry and sending him plummeting to the ground. The people seem as they are mourning SpongeBob's death. They are really mourning the inflatable pants. Now that's just cold-blooded. That's just cold. We get one more musical song to wrap up the episode. Patrick asks if SpongeBob wants to go to the pizza parlor for a slice. He says no. Patrick flies, and then the episode ends to that. Oh, and SpongeBob is confused. After the episode ends, we get a second Patchy segment. Patchy attempts to play it again, but he does not know how to rewind it to the beginning. He and Potty press a lot of buttons, which turn into a mariachi band button, and the light switch button, which when I was 5 I thought that was a real thing, but it's not even a real thing. Which he presses the mariachi button. Patchy says he hates technology, which is really funny to me. And then he gets tangled by the lost episode, and now it's lost forever. Why would an episode get tangled by the VHS player? That just doesn't even make any sense. So we get an exterior shot of Patchy's house. The narrator says, as long as there are stars in the sky, SpongeBob will live in our hearts and in our minds. But although he didn't say that SpongeBob will always appear on Nickelodeon. And that's the Sponge Who Could Fly. So, was this episode good or bad? It's a meh, because the townfish act like jerks to SpongeBob for absolute no reason. And yes, that's been a problem in modern SpongeBob, but what do I know? The Patchy segments are really good, but the promos and bumpers are a whole different vibe. There were sweepstakes, You Pick Live, Coolio, and more. And Coolio and Patchy together, that's cool. Because how often do you see Tom Kenny and Coolio hanging out on set? That's really cool. And I'm just gonna wrap up the video over here. I'm Zach Schroll, and please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for more SpongeBob content. Oh, and there's gonna be some Blue's Clues content on your way soon.